on my computer. Uh,
Simon, another question that we're getting a lot in the chat is about the work experience. So till last year, or actually till this year cohort, they had this 2 years of work experience where your work experience from university or volunteer work was also added. But now they've added a caveat where you need to have 2 years of work experience post your graduation of bachelor's university. So you need to be very clear because pehle ho jata tha ye accept, but now it is not being accepted. So you need to be clear on this point. So 2,800 hours include post graduation work experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out again. Here, if you see, guys, 2,800 hours of post-graduation work experience. That is really important. They are not going to accept your any work done during your degree or before your degree. So that has to be very clear. Um, and I think there's also a question. And if anybody's asking questions, can you please ask in the main chat, not the private chat? I will only be looking at the questions in the main chat. So we have some questions about, I'm going to go over the questions as they are coming. Um, so we've talked about the cumulative degree. I've talked about, I think Simras talked about, Maliha, your question has been answered. Uh, I, any questions that have already been answered, I'm not reading out about work experience. MBA, I've already said the MBA fee is higher and students need to pay the difference themselves and they will be paying that to the university. So about when to pay that, that is something that the individual universities will let you know. Normally, it will be at the start of the program. You can pay it either in one installment or the university can give you an installment plan. And yes, the IELTS will be required. Um, and the universities will also ask you for your IELTS, your university certificate or your proof of language certificate from most Pakistani universities will not be accepted by most UK universities. So it is always safer to appear for the IELTS, but that is something you don't need to have at the time of application. The IELTS you can do afterwards. So right now, don't worry about the IELTS, but you need to be self-aware enough to know whether you will get the IELTS required to get into a top UK university. Um, and yes, uh, if you don't have 2 years work experience, it's not the right time for you to apply. Um, Simraz already responded to your question. HP, I don't know whether that's what the name is. Um, and we cannot do PhD on this scholarship. This is specifically for master's programs. Um, is the work experience required from 2,800 hours to the date of application or to the date of starting the program? Simra, do you know?
It's to the date of application.
Date of application. So if you do not have 2 years, then you're not eligible.
And I think now they have stated on the website as well. I don't remember the exact date, so I would urge everyone to go on the website and see it. But they have stated that if you have graduated on this year, then you can apply to the scholarship. So it's on the website as well.
Of the year as well. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So it would probably be 2023, but Anam, if you can
Yeah.
check and put the link in the chat as well. What was the living stipend last year, Simra?
So it's different for different universities. So London usually has £1,600. But for Cambridge as well, they had a higher number because the university asked for a higher number, but usually standard is 1,300 to 1,400.
For the year. That's for the year, right?
For a month.
For a month. Okay, 13.
Yeah.
That's a very generous allowance. Um, and if somebody gets a job after graduating, you cannot stay back. Your visa will not allow you to stay back. So it's not about a penalty. There's no bond that you have to fill, but you will be sent back. It is a UK government scholarship, so you cannot just stay back. Your passport, your visa will be revoked, and you will be an illegal alien in the country. Um, so yeah, if it's 2 years, it says approximately 2 years, so it has to be 2,800 hours. So somebody's asking, Labeba is asking that my 2 years will be the day after the deadline. So it's not like a strict hard 2 years, but it is 2,800 hours. Duolingo, if the universities accept Duolingo, then perhaps yes. But I think IELTS is the way forward. Please do not rely on Duolingo. Um, no,
I
PhD.
also wanted to add here,
Yes.
in terms of IELTS, basically the Chevening requirement is of getting a 6.5 band. However, the universities have a higher threshold. For example, if you're applying for Chevening or Oxford, in Oxford or Cambridge, they will ask you for a specific course that you've chosen. It might be 7 or 7.5. So the Chevening may accept the 6.5 because I remember that I did when I was applying, I had a 7.5 score by the time I got Chevening scholarship. However, they told me specifically that your IELTS should be valid for the time of your study as well. So I had to redo IELTS and I had to get again a 7.5 to satisfy the Chevening committee that I am eligible, and then do that. So we have to bear in mind that the IELTS requirement is there. It is 6.5, but the university threshold may be higher.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And again, because it's such a competitive scholarship, the last thing you want to do is get the minimum. You ideally want to get, if the university requirement is 7.5, your caliber should be of at least 7.58 so that you stand above everybody else. Simran, did you have a comment?
Yeah, another thing I just wanted to add was previously the Chevening committee they wanted to see the IELTS score themselves, but now it is that they don't see the IELTS scores themselves. They just it's upon the discretion of the university whatever score that they accept. So Cambridge accepts like a 7 or a 7.5. If the university accepts my score, then Chevening is fine with it. Chevening doesn't want to see the IELTS scores themselves. So there's no criteria of IELTS on the Chevening committee, but then each university has their own criteria. And if you're lucky enough, there might be a university which accepts the proof of language from your bachelor university, but that's a very, very, very rare case. It's best to collaborate with your university and ask them what do they accept. Because my university was LUMS, and LUMS is a internationally recognized university that didn't accept my proof of language from LUMS. So I
And
had to appear for IELTS anyways.
yeah. So LUMS proof of language will be accepted by most universities provided you have a certain GPA or above. So for
Mhm.
example, Warwick will accept LUMS proof of language. I think if it's 3.2 or above 3.2 or 3.3 GPA, but below that will not be accepted. So it is always best to appear for the IELTS if you're applying for a competitive university, because it may be that one university accepts it, but others don't. So you
Mm.
might still
And
end.
and you don't have to appear for IELTS right away. I appeared for IELTS in I think April next year. So once you so the university will give you an unconditional offer, a conditional offer, sorry, conditional offer, and the condition would be that have you appeared in IELTS or no, or we want like a proof of language from your university. And then once you know about Chevening as well, if you're relying a lot on funding, then you can appear for IELTS. You don't have to spend a lot of money initially and be like, oh, I have spent the money, is it going to be worth it or not? So once you have all the decisions, you have appeared in the interview, then you can tell the Chevening committee as well that I've appeared for IELTS and I'm waiting on the result, or I will appear for IELTS. So by the time you appear for your interview, you can just have a conditional letter from the university as well.
Absolutely, yes, and that's a very, very, very good point, because obviously, if you're applying for scholarships, you may be financially constrained. And the university applications themselves have a fee as well. Many universities will have a fee. It could be £50, it could be £75. So you will also be paying that fee. You don't want to be paying for the IELTS until you have some kind of assurance that at least you're shortlisted, and then you can appear then, or you can even appear after you have been awarded the scholarship, or at least been awarded a conditional offer letter from the university. um, and of course, you can only apply to partner universities. Proof of work experience will be on your CV, it will be on your references, and community work will only be counted if it is full-time work. So it can be counted, but it has to be work that you are doing, not again, not as part of your degree, but something that you have been doing after you have graduated. Um, Ahmad is saying, uh, No, I think Simra has already cleared when you should apply for the course. And you can apply to more than three universities if you're not sure if your three universities will make you an offer. But again, as I said, because there is a cost to application, and of course there's a time involved as well, it's wise to, be careful in making sure that you are eligible for three universities and put in solid applications to three first and then decide. Um, and the Chevening is primarily for taught programs. It does not cover research programs. And you will need to check whether veterinary sciences is covered in that as well or not. Anam has just popped in the link to Chevening as well in the chat, and you can have a look there. And of course, and we have also made a WhatsApp group that you can join. Anam will share the link of that in the chat as well for other queries. And in the meantime, I'll just move on, and maybe some of your questions will be answered. If your question has been answered, then you don't need to put it in the chat. Okay, so that is the timeline for this evening. And oh, sorry. And by July 9th, 2006, you should have at least one unconditional offer by a UK university. So you have a lot of time to get your unconditional offers from universities. So this is the step by step process. You will create an account via the Pakistan page on Chevening, accept the terms and conditions. You will get the terms and conditions by email. There will be some screening questions, which is your mute everyone. There will be an eligibility check. So if you're not eligible, you will not be allowed to proceed further. And then if you are eligible, you will receive a unique code. Please save that securely. Then you will be allowed to fill in your personal information and fill out the form and submit the form. Some top tips: save the form frequently because the system times out. So if you've started your application and you're drafting your application, keep saving it regularly. Do check your spam folder and your junk folder because your emails might go there, and then save the address in your email as well. Once you have uploaded the documents, please refresh the system so that it confirms. And if you have lost your access code, this step 3, you can recover it through your registered mobile number. So please make sure that you give a mobile number that you have access to. Um, just a quick snapshot for work experience proof. There was a question there. You will be giving the names and contact details of 2 referees, and they can be contacted as well. Um, and you can, and somebody asked about voluntary, so you can include voluntary work, and you can also include part-time work as long as it is the required number of hours collectively. And you can also include paid internships, but these have to have been done after you have graduated. There are certain essay questions, and I'm going to be showing you those. There are 4 essay questions now. Last year there were 3, if I'm not mistaken, Simra, right?
No, last year before as well.
4 as well. Okay. Before that, there used to be 3, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I'm wrong. So there are 300 words per each essay question requires a 300-word response. And these are the 4 topics for each of the questions. These are the priority areas. Sorry, these are the priority areas that have been assigned by Chevening this year: promoting growth and prosperity, climate resilience, security and stability, and inclusive development. So this is really the focus of the Chevening that they want to see. And they need your responses to connect to these 4 priority areas. And of course, you need to have your official undergraduate degree certificate and your transcript. Okay. So, what are the essay questions? The minimum an essay question should be of is 100 words and maximum 300 words. The first question is about leadership experience, and it asks you to describe a time when you demonstrated leadership. And in your answer, they want you to address these specifics. And Simra, would you like to tell us a bit about how to address this question?
Yeah, so the leadership question basically asks you to tell the audience about the leadership experience that you have had. It can be in your undergrad university, it can be in the work experience as well. I would personally suggest to put a leadership experience that's most recent rather than putting something that is very dated back in the history. Put something that is very relevant to the application as well. Another thing that I would start off before I start the leadership experience is that when once you start writing the application, you need to have a storyline. I'm so sorry. So you need to have a storyline and you need to tell the audience what you're basically going to talk about, and you need to have a particular goal in which you are going to put all your application in. So for example, I did an MPhil in technology policy. I wanted to write something about Pakistan's technology landscape. So for me, it was most relevant to put leadership experiences that were related to these tech integrations within the public sector as well. And I would personally recommend what I did was put three relevant experiences. And what I did was I put my professional experience, I put my volunteer experience, and then I put my undergrad experience as well. So my professional experience came at the top because it was the most relevant. And before I put the leadership experience, I defined the leadership, what leadership is to me. So for me, leadership was mainly about challenging the status quo or bringing a positive change in the society through the tool that I am more inclined towards, and that was technology for me. And then I told the committee on how I used this tool previously in my work experience. And STAR approach, I cannot stress more on this how important situation, task, action, result approach is. It's basically, since 300 words is a very short limit to put your answer in. Once you start writing your lead experiences, you will realize that this is a very, very, very stringent requirement that they have, 300 words. But once you start putting your answer in a STAR approach, you realize that you can convey your point in a very concise manner as well. So use this STAR approach. It can be as simple as, this was the situation I was in. For example, you can say Pakistan is facing a backlog in the judicial system where the judicial applications are not going through. And the task that I was assigned was to maybe reduce the backlog and increase the efficiency in the system. These are the actions that I did, and this was the result. It would be best to quantify your result rather than just putting that I help increase the efficiency. Put numbers, I help increase the efficiency by 15%, 20%, whatever that you are using. And other than this, you can be this is mainly how you would approach the leadership question. But if you have any specific questions on this part, I would love to answer those as well.
Thank you so much, Simra. Hope that's clear in terms of the leadership questions. The STAR approach is a very, very good and clear framework through which you can answer your leadership question as well. So let's move on to the next question. I'm mindful of time. We have 15 minutes. So the next question is your relationship building and influence question. Um, and I think earlier it used to be called the networks, if I'm not mistaken. So, Mansoor, if you could tell us about this, please.
Thank you, Saima. So yes, this question is basically about how you use the networks, and Chevening stresses a lot on it, that how you are actually currently able to use your networks to a better good, not for yourself, but for your organization and the country, and how would you utilize this network post Chevening scholarship when you come back to the country. So you need to focus a lot on how you build relationships, how you interact with people, how you network. And it's not just about personal goals, it's about how you network to achieve those goals. And it is, as Sibra was saying, build a storyline. So if your storyline starts with the leadership question, the networking question builds into that. It should be connected into that. For example, if you're saying that you have solved a problem, then the networking question is basically the groundwork that you've done, how you have done that. Who have you communicated with? Who have you interacted with? Did you form committees? Did you form relationships? How did you use your networks? Was it your personal network when you came to a challenge? You can demonstrate that when you join and you have to give examples here as well, and I all also advise people to use the star approach here as well. For example, you can say that while preparing for this program, or while coming across this challenge or designing a project, I came across these issues, the stakeholders were not coordinating, so I stepped in and did this. I formed a committee. I did a community, for example, a focus group discussion. I talked to the community. And here as well, you have to demonstrate some of the leadership qualities that you have. Then you also have to tell about how you maintain those relationships and how this sustained development will help you. So I always divide that into three parts. The first part, it relates to how you currently form your relationships, number one, and second, number two is how you use that relationship or contributes to that relationships to get a result. And number three, it can be two paragraphs, and then in the second paragraph you can talk about how you are going to sustain that relationship and how you are going to use your Chevening journey to sustain those relationships. For example, you can say that Chevening has a strong 54,000 alumni network, and that network would be a great asset for me when coming back. Or the cohort I'm going to go in, the 2026 cohort, I'm going to use that. So, for example, you can say that if you're going for a public policy degree or an international development degree, I would be able to connect with these individuals across the globe who will be my network and use their strengths to leverage their strengths to have ideas which can help me solve problems in my country as well. So this is how I would do it, and this is how I have done it. Yep.
Thank you.
Another thing that I would like to add here is that previously the question was about networking. And the reason why Shivning changed it to relationship building was because people, when you listen about networking, you may mainly focus on how the networks are adding value to your life. But the reason why they shifted it to relationship building is because they view networking as a two-way street. And people were there was a misconception among Shivning applicants where they were just like writing on a part where how a network added value to their life. But since it's now relationship building, you have to tell both, as Mansoor Saab mentioned, that you have to tell both how the network added value to your life and how you added value to that network's life, because it's now a two-way street. And how are you further going to sustain it? Because, and again, the three steps that Mansoor Saab also mentioned previously, they're the best way to go about this particular question, because in this way you're answering these three criterias, which are basically the criteria for relationship building for the Shivling committee. So you don't have to overcomplicate things, and it would be best to also name drop people here as well. So for example, you're talking about a particular person who helped you achieve a particular goal. You can give that person's designation name as well, so that it helps build credibility in the application as well.
Thank you so much, Simra. Yes, that really makes sense. So, so be very clear about not what you are getting, but what you are able to give to those relationships. And that's again, the Shivning is all about what you can give, what impact you can make. It's not about you wanting to do the program because it is good for you. Zarwa, you have your hand up. Oh, did you have a question that has not been answered already? Maybe you can put it in the chat while we covered.
Yes,
Yeah, if you can put it
ma'am.
in the chat, please put it in the chat, and we will come to it once we've done the four questions. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the third question is course choice and global challenge. Explain your first choice of course and university. So because of this question, you really need to have done your research on the universities and the course that you want to apply to. So relate your question to one of the UK priority areas. Remember, in a previous slide, I had shown you the four priority areas for Shivning, and you can see them on the website as well. And you have to talk about the priority areas and why you want the course and university. So again, Mansoor and Simra, who would like to take this? Or maybe one by one.
I can take this. So basically in this question, previously I think for us it was a bit different. They wanted us to list down three universities. and why each university and each course in that university relates best to the Chevening goal that we're aiming for. But I think now it's just explained first choice of your course in university, and that's also because they've reduced the word limit from 500 to 300 in this cycle. So again, the storyline that you have built, in that storyline, the first thing that you have to answer for yourself and for the committee itself is what goal you are solving for, and what will you achieve for this particular goal if you get on this particular master's course at this university. So basically in this you will have to tell the goal that you are currently looking forward for in the Chevening application process, and then you will tell, once I achieve this goal I'll be able to do this and this, and for this particular thing or particular aim of mine I have chosen this course and this university. Why did I choose this course? Here you have to answer why in a very particular way. You have to list the university. You can tell why this university. It can be the ranking of the university. It can be because that particular university is offering a particular course that you were looking for. For example, tech policy was not offered anywhere in the UK. Only two universities were offering it. One was Cambridge and the other one was UCL. So for me, this was very important, and a lot of tech initiatives were done in the University of Cambridge. So that's why I chose this university, because they have done this in the tech arena, and that is why I'm inclined towards this. If I talk about the course now, you have to research the course very thoroughly. You have to go into the modules and see which modules interest you, which modules are related to this Chevening aim or Chevening goal, that their global challenge that they're talking about. So, for example, there were modules on sustainable technology, and then I particularly related them to how a sustainable technology is a particular global challenge that we are trying to solve right now. A lot of technologists are particularly working towards this challenge, and then you have to list down modules, particular modules. And one thing you can also do, which will be very helpful, which I also did, was research on the professors who are going to teach particular modules and write about their PhDs. What are they doing? What are their research papers? Write about their publications. You can say, I'm very interested in studying from Professor XYZ because he had a research on this particular program, and that is was very helpful for me to understand this global challenge further. Having him in my network will particularly help me achieve this aim of mine or something like this. So this basically shows that you have gone into the granular details of the program and the university, and you know what you're doing. So if anyone comes to you and asks you why you're doing this course, you shouldn't be like, because this university is the highest ranking university. You need to give particular reasons for this.
Thank you,
Yes, I
Simran.
would like to add. Yeah,
Yes,
sorry,
can you
sorry.
go? No, 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 go
Yeah,
ahead.
I would like to add that there are some candidates who, I mean, randomly select universities and courses. For example, a course in public policy, the other in project management, and the third in finance. They have specified it because they want to see how focused you are, how clear you are on achieving those goals. And that's basically leads into the leadership question as well. That leader is the one who knows the way, who goes the way, who shows the way, basically. So basically, you have to have clarity on mind what area you're pursuing it for. Secondly, you can also justify these questions in the sense that, look, there are multiple challenges the country is currently facing, and not the education system is not mature enough to answer that. For example, sustainability. So sustainability courses are not usually taught in the country as well. Similarly, you can see international best practices are also taught. You can say that, I mean, and that's especially true for the civil servants, and this is how I justified it, that I said that, look, I have the experience, however I do not have the know-how of what is taught, what is the new research here, what are the new areas that are coming in, where the world is thinking, which is not available in the Pakistani universities. And this XYZ course and this professor and this universities are basically the one providing that. And by tapping into that course, university, and the professor, I can get information which I can use to make a difference in my country. Then you can go on to talk about the value addition of the university, that this is also a university that is high ranked. this relates to my goal, this relates to my degree, this relates to my future career, or this has been relevant to the area that I'm going to work in. So what I'm just adding to what Simra has already very elaborately described, and I think these are the best tips I think you could kind of get in terms of drafting your scholarship.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very important to say, to show what gap will you be filling for yourself, for your own growth, and for the country. So if you've already done everything, of course, you need to show that you're a great candidate, but you also need to show what more will you learn through this degree. And that's why,
Yeah.
because earlier they were asking for all three degrees, and as Mansoor said, the three degrees should be similar to each other, ideally in the same area, so that all your questions connect to the degrees and your narrative is the same. And in the earlier questions, because then students would have to kind of repeat more or less the same things and try to find new things about the degree and the course. So now it's just one first choice, which they assume that your other two will be similar courses, different universities. So they're not really, they want to see that you've done the research on the course and also why this course at this particular university. So sometimes we have students who will apply to a university which is very easy to get into, and maybe the rankings are not very high. It might be on the Chevening list, but there might be another university offering the same course on the Chevening list, which is very, very tough to get into. So if you've chosen a university that is on the Chevening list, is offering your course, but is very easy to get into, they will want to see why you've chosen that university. Is it just because it was easy to get into, or is there particular research being done there that you really, you really want to do? So it's important to explain your sort of logic to them as
Mhm.
well. They don't want to see
Um,
people who are taking just the shortcut.
Sam, I would like to add something here, 2 points. First is the gap part that you talked about. So I'll just give an example of how I did it because sometimes listening to examples really helps you do it yourself as well. So I did my bachelor's in management science, which is a very data-oriented degree. Then I worked for 2 years in IT and tech consulting, which is where I was working with the public sector on tech reforms, which is policy reforms regarding technology. And then how I built my storyline was basically I have this data expertise right now, and I have professional work experience working with policy analysts as well. But where I personally see my gap not being filled is building technology with policy, how to build this particular gap, and that's where I built my application on. And you might once you might be thinking that what gap I might be filling in, or how can I answer this gap question. But this is something that's really important because Chevening will not give you the funding if you're telling them I know everything. You need to tell them that this is where I'm lacking, and this is where I see UK as advanced a lot, and that is where I bring in Chevening funding and I'll give back to the community that I belong to. Second point that I wanted to add was once you're listing down why this university and why this course, it's very important to focus on extracurriculars as well. Being in academia, we often forget that this is something that is really important, and that is why they have leadership and networking. Sorry, a relationship building question. So you can maybe just an example, you can put in the this question as well, that this particular university conducts a conference every year where a speaker came in, or a particular startup was founded from this university. There are people founders club in this university, and these people will help become come in my network and help me achieve a particular goal and agenda.
Perfect. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think thank you for those examples, Simra. It does make it easier for people to understand what detail and depth they should know their own subject. So if, and we get this a lot because, we run this seminar every year, and every year we get a lot of candidates wanting to, take our services to support them for the Chevening Scholarship. And we actually have to decline quite a few of them because they themselves don't have the clarity of, what they have studied, what they have done, how they align. Of course, we coach them, we try to help them see it, but really the strongest candidates are the ones who are very clear, and they need our help in how to frame it. But you need to know your subject before we can help you. Okay, so be very clear on why you want to do the Chevening. It don't apply for the Chevening just because it's a free scholarship, because you won't get it. So the fourth question is about your career plan and impact. So it's not just the career plan. Again, it's the impact that they want to see. And they want to see your medium and long-term career plans as well. So I'll again ask both of you to take this one by one, please.
So in terms of career plan, that's the most important question because they're looking for what are you going to give back from this scholarship, and it's not just about the personal goals. It's about what advantages are your country going to gain. It's a leadership question, and they want to cultivate a leader that is available in the country and who gives back to the country. So the best approach is to be have a clear idea on what you want, as we have already been saying. It's a storyline and your story ends here. So you're here, you're coming to a conclusion, and your conclusion should be forward looking, saying that, look, if I when I'm going to come back, I'm going to do this. For example, Simra was giving an example that she related her degree, the technology, with the policy. Now this question gives you the opportunity how you are going to give it, and here you are going to give examples on, I intend to work with a public sector organization who is doing this. I am going to bring in these reforms. I will try to bring in these reforms. And I would like to join organizations. I would like to work in a sector where I'll be able to make an impact in this. Again, it's related to your goal. So in every question, you're answering in the goal. Secondly, your career plan. For example, I'm a civil servant. As a civil servant, it was very easy for me to specify where I'm going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. However, there will be candidates who might not be sure about where they're going to land up. They might not be sure about the job prospects. So then you tap into an area, you tap into the goal and say, look, Pakistan has done this. And going forward, when I'm going to come back with a degree in XYZ, I would going to utilize that degree into this area, or to tap into the policy domain, and I would like to bring these challenges. You can also talk about the obstacles, that it's not going to be easy. I may not be able to achieve that. However, I will try my best to do that. And then again, you can ask, for example, I added that, I mean, I will be able to utilize the learnings from the classrooms in the UK to the offices in the government sector, where I'll be able to make a change using the knowledge that I have in public policy. So I defer to again to Simra for adding more to that.
Yeah, so this question again, as Mansoor mentioned, that this is one of the most important questions because streaming is all about impact, and this is the question where you can capture the impact the most. How I particularly did it was just a brief over in the first paragraph, just give a brief overview of what you're planning to do and what impact you're planning to create, and then give your short, medium, and long-term goals that how this impact will be created. And again, since I was in the private sector, it was difficult for me to see my 15-year or a 20-year long journey because in the private sector, it's a bit uncertain as compared to the public sector. But then for that, you have to map it back to your goal. So imagine yourself achieving that goal and imagine at what position you can be to achieve that goal. What would be the highest position that you can achieve, which will help you achieve that goal, and mention that in your long term plan. And same is that even for your short-term plan, you can say that I'll continue working in the organization that I was previously working, but this time I'll do this because now I have more knowledge. Another thing that I would like to add in this question is that it would be really, really, really helpful for you if you add this, and it will it will boost your application a little bit more. Go to FCDO's website and research on the work that they're doing for the challenge that you have targeted in Pakistan right now. So if the challenge is about maybe maybe financial services, that they're trying to improve financial service in Pakistan or integrate technology in financial service, go to FCDO website and research what work FCDO is currently doing in Pakistan to do this to solve this particular challenge, and then mention in your career plan that currently FCDO is working on this particular initiative in Pakistan. Why I want this scholarship? I want this scholarship to help FCDO achieve this target in my country. So this will help the committee know that you have thoroughly researched on not just your program, your application, but also on a broader scale that what other organizations are doing in your country. So that was, yeah, that was what I wanted to add.
Thank you, Simra. I think that's a very, very good point about looking at the FCDO, not only the priority areas that they want for this evening, but also what exactly is the work that they're doing. So that's very important because again, that just shows that the level of research you've done is beyond your own requirements, but you are addressing the requirements of the FCDO and of Pakistan as a country. Right. The idea initially we had thought that we'd go over the question. I would go over the questions, and then I would invite both of you to, give your inputs. But I think this has been much more interactive. So, thank you, Mansoor. We did have their introductions earlier, but for the benefit of those who've joined us later, our guest panelists are Mansoor Ali Masood, who's a senior project officer at the Asian Development Bank, and he was a Chevening scholar at the University of Warwick. And our other speaker is Simra Zafar. Simra, I don't know, Anam, where did her name go? Who's a digital transformation advocate, and she was a Chevening scholar at the University of Cambridge last year. So thank you both for joining us. We do have a few more slides just to finish off. What happens in case you get rejected? We've given you all the tips and tricks on how to submit a strong application. You can, of course, contact us. Anam has put a link in the chat to join a group for guidance as well. And if you want, you can sign up with us as well for more one-to-one support. But if you get rejected, as Simra had said, there were over 7,000 applications last year for only about 231 who got shortlisted for 31 places. So there's a high chance that you will get rejected. You will be notified. Applicants are informed about each stage of the application, and you will receive an email update. So don't, there will be no ambiguity. There is no appeal process. If you meet the eligibility criteria, you can apply next year with a stronger application. A lot of Chevening candidates do not succeed in the first attempt, so do not be disheartened. Your second or third attempt might make your application stronger. It will give you a better idea of what is required. But in the meantime, that year that you have, in case you're rejected this year, then use that time to actually strengthen your leadership work, actually strengthen your networking, refine your career plan, make sure that don't just reapply with a similar application next time, hoping that you'll get in. Actually work on your profile and apply. So a lot of our candidates and our clients actually work with us over 2 cycles, because the next year then they're improving their application and based on work that they have now done, because maybe first year round you didn't really know what was needed. So that's just a word of caution there. If you do want to get in touch, you can message us or drop your WhatsApp number or your email address and name in the chat. We will get your CV from you to see if you're eligible for a free eligibility check. So the first filter will be a CV, and if your CV qualifies, then you can have a free meeting with me to assess your eligibility as well. So please do that. If you decide that you are applying for the Chevening and you're applying to any of our partners and you would like free support from us, please make sure that when you submit the university application, you choose StEPS in your application. So for example, for Warwick, you can choose StEPS here, and then you can get in touch with us and we can guide, we can help you with anything related to Warwick. For York, again, you would be able to choose StEPS Pakistan in the York application, and similarly for others as well. And if you're not sure, you can always ask us. We have made a WhatsApp group where you can actually ask us about all of these little operational things as well. Hope you found the session useful. We would love your feedback. Anam is going to drop a link in the group as well for feedback. So please do give your feedback on our Google page. And if you have any questions, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. You can take a screenshot of this if you want our contact details. But again, you are in the WhatsApp group, so you should be able to find the contact details there. We will be sharing this recording on our YouTube channel in a couple of days. I'll just need to maybe edit where we accidentally switched it off and switched it on again. So we will be putting it on our YouTube channel, and we will share the link of the channel in the WhatsApp group as well. So if you have any questions before we finish, please feel free to ask.
Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question. First of
Your
all,
name? What's your name?
Savera.
Savera. Yes, Ji Savera, please ask.
Yeah, so I have a couple of questions. One of my question is that at what point will they be contacting the referees? And another question that I have is that, for example, in the essay where we have to mention why we chose this university and this course, so we have to mention our first choice. So for example, in my essay, I'm stressing upon one university and that course, and then in the interview as well, I just tell them that if I'm lucky enough to go to the interview, so in the interview as well, if I mention that I have chosen XYZ course and this university, and then for some instance if I do not get into that university, so is that going to impact my application in a bad way?
So if I understand correctly, your question is that you would have mentioned 3 universities on your application.
Yeah.
And then when you
Yeah,
upload,
that makes sense. But in the essay, if I'm emphasizing on one particular university and then I do not get into that university, so and I get to another one of the other, yeah.
No, I don't think. I mean, this is the first year that they've done this, where they've asked for just your top choice university. But at the end of the day, they have asked you to apply to 3. So if you get into any of those 3, it would be fine, right, Mansoor? Because you were also on the committee.
Yes, exactly. So I've been part of the reading committee as well as the Chevening panel, Chevening interview panel as well. Again, your goal matters, your focus area matters. You can start with one university, but since you'll have consistency of the degree that you're going to be pursuing, or if you mention one, that would be enough. You can also try to mention that the universities I've chosen are top because they offer the areas I want to specialize in, which include basically, I mean, for example, if I'm a public policy person, so I wrote that I would like to have knowledge about public policy in developing countries, and the universities that I've chosen. University of Warwick, the Institute of Development Studies, and I also mentioned third one in Scotland, Aberdeen. So, I mean, all these universities offer courses which have modules that touch upon these areas. So either you can do it this way, but now they have specified it. You can use the first university that you've chosen and talk about the module and the course that you have chosen as a first choice.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Assalamu alaikum. Ji, Dr. Madiha.
I'm Dr. Madiha. Thank you so much, first of all, for this such informative session. It helped me a lot. Although I have selected my universities and courses already, but still, after this session, I feel like I need to make changes. The question I have is regarding my field. As you know, the veterinary field is not so go-to field. So not everyone from this field try for the scholarship and everything. So my main question is, do I go for the 3 different universities that impacts better, or should I go for the one university and 3 different courses? As you know, the Royal Veterinary College is one of the top universities in London, and that's offering 3 different courses in the veterinary field. They are similar to each other. So my confusion is, should I go for that, the one university and 3 different courses, or should I go for 3 different universities and the similar title of the courses?
I think
Thank
the
you so
first
much.
question, the first question would be, are all those 3 courses part of the Chevening list?
Yeah, they are part of the Chevening list.
Then the second question you need to ask yourself is, what is the difference between the 3 courses?
They are almost similar. Like one is about the wild animal health, and the other one is about epidemiology. So they are linked to each other. Wild animal health, one animal health. They are similar to each other.
Do they have a lot of common core modules?
They are similar. They are similar fields.
So because in your course question, you obviously have to talk about a course. So if you're focusing, for example, a lot on, say, epidemiology, but the other courses that you're choosing do not have them, it doesn't matter whether they're at the same university or at different universities. What is important to them is that the course that you choose and the essay, the 4 questions that you're writing, all are aligning towards that one course as well as one of the 4 policy areas of the Chevening. So if
My
so it
sorry,
won't
I'm
matter
interrupting
it
you.
won't matter if they're at the same university as long as your goals can align.
Okay, my goal was to go for the veterinary epidemiology. The University of Cambridge was also offering a similar course to the MSc veterinary epidemiology. So I was confused just to select which university should I pursue, the veterinary related ones or the other universities offering veterinary courses as well.
You could select 3 universities, 3 different courses, because chances are if you get into one and then you decide that you want to switch the course, they might even allow you to switch a course before you join or before your offer is made unconditional if the courses are very similar and if the entry requirement is the same. So I would advise you to apply to 3 different universities but the same course
Thank
because
you so
that
much,
is the
ma'am.
most focused application.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any other
Is
questions?
there course selection matter?
Yeah,
Yes, course selection,
question.
very important.
Sorry.
Yes,
जी,
Haya.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Yes, so I just have one question, and that is, if your CGPA in your undergrad is not as high as others might be, but you have other examples of leadership throughout your course, like you have a distinction in your thesis, you have, like leadership examples throughout your work. Would that be considered, or is your CGPA like extremely important when it comes to being considered for this scholarship?
Does anybody want to take that or shall I take it?
Yeah, actually, I mean, personally, CGPAs do not matter. I give you personal example. When I applied for Chevening, I had a degree in English literature. I have a master's degree in English literature, and I've been a civil servant. So when I was applying for a public policy, it was really difficult for me to connect that. First, I considered using my CGPA or connecting my degree. There was no chance. So what I used, but I used my experience, and then I realized that this is a scholarship for a leadership position. I need to justify that at the university level, but since I'm a civil servant, I'm in the leadership position, I need to justify through my experience, not the CGPA, that how have I done that. Because they're looking for leaders, they're not looking for educational uh, there is an element of looking at the educational excellence. However, they're looking for people who can make a difference. So personally, CGPAs do not matter. What
If
matters
the
is how you
university,
frame your application and how you answer the leadership questions.
yes, absolutely, provided the university accepts you. So the CGPA is again like the IELTS, the CGPA is for the university to accept. So if
Yeah.
the university is accepting you, Chevening will not question that.
And even
Okay, so
I'm
also
thankful to
one.
Saima as well. Yeah, because she helped me draft that university application in linking my experience to the university as well. Because I had a CGPA, but that was in a different degree. So Saima really helped me frame my application in a way that I was able to convince the university to give me admission in a public policy course.
That's great, because that was my follow-up question. That if my undergrad is in another subject and I want to pursue another subject for my master's, will I be able to connect my life experience with it? Okay, so that is possible. You can switch your
Correct,
field
that's what I
in
mean.
the end.
That is what our service is about. That is what we offer a
That's
candidate.
amazing.
Looking at them, helping them build up their profile if they are Chevening material. If we feel that they're not, then we'll tell you, don't sign up with us. Go and, build up this experience and then maybe come to us next year. So again, send us your CV. Very happy to do a free eligibility call with you, Haya.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Okay, can I ask one question? Last question, if you have a time.
So just maybe one last, and if there's any others,
Okay,
please
last
continue
question.
to chat. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm just asking about one candidate has already asked that do we need reference letter at this point to submit along with the application, or just we have to put in their email addresses and their contact numbers at this stage?
You need to give, I'm not really sure about that. Anam?
So at this stage, I'll answer this. So at this stage, when you're submitting the application, you just need to give the contact details of the referees. And once you get shortlisted for the interview, then they send you an email that you have to submit your reference letters by this date. I think it was around March where they wanted you to submit reference letters. At this stage, the reading committee is only going to shortlist you based on the 4 essays that you are giving them, nothing else. So it's just your Chevening application, which is the 4 essays on which you will be shortlisted. The references and everything, you can take care of it later on, even in IELTS included, once you get the call.
Yeah, all operational kind of work, they don't expect
Yeah.
to go to your referees and get their.
But another thing that you need to be very careful of is that the referees that you are providing, make sure that they're able to give you reference later on, because those are the final ones. Once you get shortlisted, you cannot change the names of those referees later on. So those are the reference letters that you will have to get in any case. So make sure that those are the people who are on your contact and speed dial all the time.
And the best
Thank
and
you so much, Simra. Thank you, Saima. Thank you so much.
best practice is to actually get permission from your referees before you put their name. So I have had my name put down as a referee for people I would not give a reference to. So, just make sure that they are happy to give you a reference and that they're aware that they could be contacted as well. So, that's very, very important. Thank you so much, Mansoor. Thank you, Simra. We will have to end the call here due to shortage of time. We were supposed to end at 20 minutes ago, but thank you so much. Anam, if you could please, I think people are asking where they should send the CV to. So if you please put the support address, email address in the chat. You can send your CV in the WhatsApp group that we have made. Anam will just share the WhatsApp link there as well. If you don't want to share it in the group for privacy purposes, the group admins are myself, Saima, Anam, and Faiza, the 3 group admins. You can send your CV to any of us, and we will get in touch with you if you're eligible for a free eligibility check. Ji Sana, if you have a last question, if it is one that has not been asked before.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll just state it quickly. For the relationship building essay, should it revolve around the same leadership experience or does it need to be a separate one?
I would prefer it to be a separate one. So the best idea would be to have 3 to 4 leadership questions, experiences written down, and then you decide which one you choose for the leadership one and for the networking one. It is always good to give diverse examples, which shows you that you're a strong candidate, and it's not just one off leadership example that you're showing off. It's a consistent chain where you have been demonstrating leadership and networking capabilities all across your career.
Okay. And as they have reduced the word limit, so do we need to mention one example experience in our first 2 essays or can we include more?
With the shortened word limit, I think it would be better to stick to one example and use the star approach.
Okay.
And
Thank you so much.
I always tell candidates when they're starting any essay, don't worry about the word limit at the start of your essay. Start writing whatever potentially you could write, even if it's 1,000 words. Write. Just start with writing. And then you can always delete and make it concise, because a lot of the times what happens is that you're thinking that you're focusing on only one, but there's actually something else that might have been really important, but you have not even developed it because you thought you didn't have the space. So write everything and then you can always kind of change later. Okay. And somebody
I think just to add something on this part. So if you think that this is going to be a one-time essay, you'll write it and you'll be done, that's wrong, because I'm telling you from personal experience, I had around 15 to 17 drafts of my essay, and I kept on making changes till the last minute. So you will write like thousands and thousands of words for one essay, and then there will be people helping you basically shorten the length based on what's more impactful. So write down everything and ask someone to tell you what's giving the most amount of impact for this particular goal, and then you'll be able to cut everything down later on.
And I mean, I think Mansoor will also vouch for that. Sometimes what you think is impactful is not what I will think is impactful. So if you, for example, if you're signing up with me for coaching around this, I might, there's something that you say, you might be telling me something which is very, by the way, say, actually, yeah, but that's not important. And I'd be like, actually, that is what's most important. Tell me more about that, or write me a paragraph about that, and let's see how we develop that. So nothing is not important. Explore every facet of your life and of your leadership. You never know what might be something that's really important. I think there's one or two candidates here who are working with me on this right now, and what we started with maybe three weeks ago, they're actually developing completely different ideas now. So, and the letter of reference, lastly, before I end the call, there's somebody's asked if it should be by a line manager or a colleague. I really don't think it matters, as long as it's somebody who's worked with you and can vouch for, somebody who can write you a better letter of reference, which is genuine.
Yes.
Miss, what about the processing fees if we nominate you for the application?
What do you mean nominate you for the application?
Do you charge any service?
So of course, if you want me to, as Simra said, it can take 15 to 20 drafts uh, to work with somebody. Of course, if you're engaging me as a coach on your application to support you, then there is a charge. Faiza will share in the WhatsApp group what the charges are. If you are applying to one of our partner universities, I do give you a free review of your essay and your eligibility if you are applying to one of our partner universities.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mansoor and Simra, for your time. It was very, very helpful, and I hope that many of you will get invited and shortlisted for the interviews and get the scholarship eventually. Thank you so much. All the best. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.